Hi, this is Melissa with Web of Creativity, and this video is the page construction and matting of the album, of the pages, all the pages. And I already did a preview video that shows you the entire album, but I'm going to go through it briefly so you know what we're doing. The whole cover is on the tutorial. I didn't do a video for the cover, and these are little pockets that have little tags in them. So the video will go through the 3 styles of pages. So we have page style. This is just a front, and then the back is just for you to decorate. So there's no folds or pockets on that, but you can make it a pocket, leave that open and pocket. But page style A is the shirt pocket. So we have this pocket right here that opens with the tag, and then it flips up, and then it opens out to reveal another tag, another pocket. And then page style B is front pocket, and then it opens for another pocket on the inside. And then we do page style A again, and then page style C is similar to B, but we have 4 pockets instead of 1, 2. And then it opens up for another pocket. Okay, so we'll do all the pages, and then we'll do matting. And then at the end of the video goes through all the pages more closely. You can see all the tags, how everything's matted and what it looks like, and the punches that I used. Okay, let's get started. Alright, here's the construction for the 2 ring bound mini album using the Safari version. We have 3 page styles and then a main page. All the cutting and measurements and scoring is in the tutorial. So this is our main page, and then we have 2 sheets for each page. So we got page A style, B, and C. So we're going to start with just the main page, and I marked a center point. I use Tim Holtz hole punch, binder punch. I did measure and put in the tutorial where to put the holes if you don't have one of these. This is, I used my little coupon at Michael's for 40% off, so it wasn't that expensive. And in the hole, there's a little arrow that shows where the center point is. So it's pretty easy. And I just line that up. And there we go. This little thing also comes with the measure. I just take it out because it's not the right size for me. But alright, so page A has 2. We got a large sheet and a skinny sheet. And page A is the shirt pocket style. So we have the pocket right up here, and it flips up, and then it flips open with the tag. So this tall skinny sheet is the top pocket, and this part is this section. So we're going to need our cutting mat, and a ruler. Alright, so we have tabs on this. Up at the top is a 1/2 inch tab, and up at the bottom, down at the bottom, is a 1/2 inch tab. And then there's this score line right here. So we're going to take the bottom right section and trim that off. So I can see it, I'm going to turn it around. So this is the bottom. And I just trimmed it to the score line. And I'm just going to cut that at an angle. I'm going to taper that corner off. So that's the bottom section. Then I'm going to taper all the corners. And then we have this top where the score line meets the top, and I'm going to cut that and cut a little V shape out of that. So that way this page now has 3 tabs. So I'm going to fold all the tabs. And add my tape. Oh, I'm not going to add it right there. Hold on. I punched that section. These 2 ends I used my 1/2 inch corner rounder. This is the Crocodile Corner Chomper. We are memory keepers. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to trim off. So I'm going to taper this again at an angle. So we have our little wings here. Then I'm going to add my tape. So this is the pocket side. I'm going to fold. This will be the pocket, and this is the flap. So it's going to be the opposite of this page. So we'll take, so when we attach, it'll look like that. So this little tab hooks this page. So let's get that one done, and we're going to use getting our cutting mat back out. Alright, this has the same, a 1/2 inch tab up at the top and a 1/2 inch section up at the bottom. And I'm going to flip that this way. So we have 2 score lines on this sheet. So we're going to cut from the top of this one all the way to this score line, and the bottom section all the way to this score line. So we're going to cut those 2 off. And And I'm going to cut that at an angle. So I'm going to taper that corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Flip that. So these have wings, and we're going to go ahead and trim, taper the bottom two corners to make our tab. So we'll fold our tab in. I'm going to add our tape. Before you attach anything down, if you're going to ink your page, go ahead and ink it now, and then attach. So we're going to fold that, just lining it up first. So that's how it's going to attach. So there's our pocket. And then these two corners I'm going to punch. And fold over. And there we go. So we'll bring back our first section. You're going to line this up and attach it at the top. So I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see it better. I always line my stuff up first before I tape it down, just in case it's too big and I have to trim or whatnot. There we go. So I have that attached. And that's page style A. And when you attach it to the main page, you'll add a strip of tape at the bottom. I put it just short of the tab because I don't want to tape the tab down, because then your pocket would be kind of awkward. So again, I left some space on the sides. So when it gets attached, I'm going to attach it flush to the edge, and then you'll have your page. Alright. And when you get your pages, make sure you do mirror image. So when you do this one with this tab up at the top, you're going to want to cut the opposite tab so the tab's on this side. So it goes folded. So instead of the tab being up at the top, it'll be at the other side so you can have the mirror image. So don't forget about mirror image pages. Alright, page 2. I labeled them with letters, not the numbers, so it's page style B. Let me just flip my tutorial. So we have this one pocket here, then it opens up and the pocket is on the inside instead of on the outside. So we're going to take our pocket first. Has 3 tabs. So we're going to taper the corners. And then at the bottom, where you see the tab lines in the corner, we're going to cut it at an angle to create our tabs. And then we'll go ahead and fold. And then add your tape to that, and that is your inside pocket. That's wrong. Stare at this wrong. So the closed end is going to be by the holes, the opened end is on the other side. And then this is our flap. So we have a 1/2 inch tab. So we'll cut that at an angle, or taper those corners. Alright. For this one, we're going to punch the corners with the 1/2 inch punch. And I'm going to use, you can use glue, or I have the 1/8 inch tape. You can use a 1/4 inch tape, it's just this way you get more space for your tag. There we go. So if you're doing the page like that, we'll put the pocket here. So the opening's the opposite edge of the holes, and then this flap will get attached flush to the side, and there's our pocket. So if you do mirror image, you just turn it around. So your opening's on that side, and you attach flush to the opposite edge. So there's your mirror image page. Alright, that's page style B. Page style C is a lot similar. So the only difference is the flap. I'm just going to use the same pocket. We have the flap gets an extra score line in the middle. I don't know if you can see, it's right here up to the next score line going this way. So we'll taper the corners, and I'm going to use my cutting mat. So I'm going to line up my, and cut right to the score line. And punch the corners. So we'll fold on the tab, flip over, and then fold these guys up. And again, you're going to want to ink your page first before you do any attaching. And the same thing, you add the tape or glue. So this is the same thing. For mirror image, you'll attach your pocket so the opening is on the opposite side of the holes. You'll attach your flap flush to the other side. So you'll have your opposite. And for identical, attach your pocket and then your flap. So there you go. So page style B and C, you can make all the pages and then put them together and not have any problems. It's page A that you're going to need to pay attention to when you're making this one, that tab at the top is going to be on the opposite side. So the tab at the top, and then when you want to do that pocket on mirror, it's going to go this way, so the tab needs to be on this top. Okay, that's the page construction. Now we're going to move on to matting. Alright, for the matting, I've already cut out all my mats and inked the edges, and I used Vintage Photo Distress ink for the pages and for the mats. For your first mat for this flap, I made a flush mat, covers the whole edges, and then for the rest I have a small border. And then for the accent strip, I have a punch. It's Scallop Diamond by EK Success. So we're going to start with, I have a magnet, so I placed my magnet there and there, close to the top, and I used basic gray magnets because they're thin, but I do have replacements for those since that company might be going out of business. So, we're going to attach that flush. And I want to glue down these two little corners because I'm going to be punching them. So I don't want them to come up. I'm using a new glue by Tonic Craft Tacky Glue. It has a very thin tip at the top. So far it's doing good. Like all glues, it does plug up a little bit, but it's so far it's pretty easy to handle. and making sure where the magnet is, that seam is closed. Alright, and then I'm going to punch the 2 corners. And then ink. Alright, for page style B, we're going to go ahead and mat those. We're going to start with the magnets placements. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape over it. I always like to do an extra secure when it comes to the magnets and run my fingernail along the edge to secure them better, the tape around the magnet. So with the top part, this, you can have one continuously long piece, or I cut this sheet out of the 6x6 inch pad, paper pad. So all I did was just cut it where my accent strip was going to go and separated it. Okay, page style C, a lot like page style B, except for it's a 2 pocket instead of 1 at the flap. I already put my magnets in place, so let's get matting. Alright, next I'm going to show you the whole album and all the tags and pages, and I'm going to discuss the punches that I used. So first, the punches that I used the Tim Holtz binder punch to punch the holes in the pages. I used the EK Success Scallop Diamond edge punch. I used Scallop Corner We Are Memory Keepers Crop-A-Dile, the scalloped, and then the We Are Memory Keepers Crop-A-Dile, the 1/4 and the 1/2 inch. I use both of those for the corners. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and show you all the pages and the tags. So these little pockets have small tags on the top. They're just a plain mat, and these are matted as well. So they're just little guys. I did add some enforcers so it doesn't eat your paper. I put them on both sides. So page style A. And then the tags. Oh. So everything is mirrored image with a couple little differences with the what's on the tags. I just put little, the leftover cutout pieces, but you can put a photograph that goes behind the little mat. I think this is my favorite page. And these little tags have stickers at the bottom. Alright, those are all the pages and all the tags. And then the front cover and the back cover. That's the stickers, and these are banner pieces. And that's the entire album. Kits and tutorials on my blog, www.webofcreativity.net. Thank you for watching.